As we take in those big belly breaths, we just feel ourselves relaxing. Slowing down and slowing the mind chatter down. And we remember that this is the last Sunday that we're studying faith. That activation chakra is in the middle of our head, right behind our third eye. And we'll continue with the power of imagination that's located in the same place. So I would encourage you to breathe into that chakra, activating that faith. That faith that not only is of God, but is from that God force. And so as we connect with the breath, and we slow down, and we walk in our own gardens, any questions that we have, almost as soon as we formulate them, that answer's there. So let us spend a little time in the quiet now. And as we gently and easily come back to this time and place, we give thanks for that stillness, that sense of quiet, that lowers blood pressure, and that, as the Dalai Lama says, the only thing we have coming out of it is we lose anger, resentment, frustration, any anxiety. And so for this, we give thanks for those still moments. Amen. Okay, and so now if the ushers want to collect those questions, great. And then as far as
Everybody, I know you know it, but I just want to thank those of you who've already purchased tickets to the concert the 20th and 21st. It's a fundraiser for our spiritual permanent home. If you have not and you'd like to, I have tickets, all the people in the choir have tickets. And Pat, if you could stand up real quick, please, Pat, stand up. She has tickets as well. That's my ticket master right there. So feel free to grab some tickets while you can. I'm greatly appreciate that. Hey, how many of you practice the power of now? Oh, okay. You know, if we all did that, we'd be in a much better, harmonized, quiet place with ourselves. I know I practice it, but it gets away from me sometimes. This song is actually about that power. The power of living in the moment. If this life is one act, why do we lay all these tracks? Why do we put them in when we just want to be free? I will not waste my days making up all kinds of ways to worry about all the things that will not happen to me. So I just let go of the things that I don't know, and I know I'll only do this by living in the moment, living my life easy and breezy, peace in my heart, peace in my heart, peace in my soul. Wherever I'm going, I'm already home. I'm living in the moment. I'm letting myself off the hook for things I've done. I let my past go to the past, and now I'm having much more fun. I'm letting go of the thoughts that do not make me strong. And I know all the things that I don't know, and I know I'm gonna be there, living in the moment, living my life easy and breezy, peace in my mind, peace in my heart, peace in my soul. Wherever I'm going, I'm already home. By living in the moment, living my life easy and breezy, peace in my mind, peace in my heart, peace in my soul. Wherever I'm going, I'm already home. I'm living in the moment. Thank you.
I think Hector enjoyed playing those songs. So I want to give thanks to the people who helped in this ministry during this last week. Sunny, who beautifully led our songs last week. Susie McPherson, who did some edit checking on our February monthly New Thought calendar. Pat Bennett, who got all our tax statements out. Our chaplains that helped with that hand blessing last week. That was wonderful. Howie, who took care of Wendell this week. And everybody who's been helping with Barbara Richards. Really appreciate that. And Steve, who's been filling in on the ASAP when we need it. So appreciate that as well. And then, let's see, just one or two jokes before we start. This is from Linda Turberg, and it's attorney asking a witness something. Attorney, what is your date of birth? Witness, July 18th. Attorney, what year? Witness, every year. Attorney, how old is your son, the one living with you? Witness, 38 or 35, I can't remember which. Attorney, how long has he lived with you? Witness, 45 years. Attorney, now doctor, isn't it true that when a person dies in his sleep, he doesn't know about it till the next morning? Witness, did you actually pass the bar exam? All right, let's have those questions up here. And I don't, is Patricia here? Or are there LUT? I don't think so. So it's Norm and I, so we will pick them and post them. Doesn't matter.
I've been working out.
The question is reconciliation with another person face-to-face necessary to forgive them or ask for forgiveness? What do you think the answer to that question is?
No.
Don't have to be face-to-face.
No.
Okay. True. Probably can be done that way. But when I read that, I thought of my grandchildren and their phones. Everything is done by text now. I can't call my grandchildren because they wouldn't answer it. I call them. If I text them, I get a reply immediately, but telephone, no. And if you really want forgiveness, looking the person in the eye, to me, would be the best way to do it. Let them know you're coming from your heart, you're asking for forgiveness, or you're giving forgiveness, whatever the situation may be, which side of the thing you're on. I would think that would be much more effective. However, does it need to be done that way? And the answer is no.
And the person doesn't have to be alive either. Because we're all spirits and we go on and on. So the person can have already transitioned or be on another plane of existence. And forgiveness is always for yourself. So the next one that we're going to do is, this is a great question. I really appreciate this question. It would be helpful if you did a quick explanation of the things for new people. For example, what is pact? What is the raffle for? What's the story with the new church? I did not bring food today, is that okay? Yes. I would really, if you're new here, this is like such a, it's such a challenge because not only do we have new people, but we have 12-monthers, 8-monthers, 6-monthers, 4-monthers, and 3-monthers. And so we try to communicate in a number of different ways with the monthly bulletin and the e-news and the announcements on the slide. But if you're new and you would like to know, kind of like, you used all these acronyms and I don't know what the heck's going on, please call me because that will immediately be addressed in that next e-newsletter because we want to know when we're talking in terms that are not understandable. That's just not good communication. So, and help us identify those. We really appreciate that. Thank you. And that's we have these community gathering meetings on the 5th Sunday of every month just so we can hash this kind of stuff out and tell us how we can be more effective. It's really about your coming to us and letting us know what kind of job we're doing and what you need and where we're missing the mark.
I like this next one. When do I get to meet Twinkle Toes? Tana makes up our slides, so I said, who's Twinkle Toes?
Let's see. What makes Unity unique from other New Thought churches? I'd rather say, rather than unique, how are we similar? The New Thought churches stem from the Transcendentalists. So we have divine science, religious science, unity. There's probably another one in there. Science of mind, yeah. So we really all believe in the God force, and the New Thought churches believe that the God force is within us. That's really how we differ from most other Christian denominations and Christians' sects of religions. So I think probably how we're unique is we do not have a lot of dogma. You don't have to believe a certain way of anything in Unity to be part of Unity Community. We really are wanting you to be on your own spiritual path, whatever that is, and be welcomed here. So Unity, the founders of Unity really believe that everybody has the ability to think through things themselves, and so that's why we don't say you have to believe in this, this, and this. As you know, we review the 5 principles every once in a while, but I think that's probably the thing that's most unique about Unity is, you know, the founding people, what they wanted is they wanted people to come on Wednesday nights to hear a lecture, to hear something to cogitate, to contemplate on, to help them be a better person to go to their other church on Sunday. So everybody was from all different denominations would come to hear the Fillmores on Wednesday night. They never really wanted to start their own denomination until the, I guess, the people really wanted them to. So that's probably how Unity is unique. Yeah.
I don't understand how we can reincarnate because our spirit, the I am, never dies. What does incarnate mean?
To go into a body.
Coming into the body. Okay, so I like to think of my body as my spacesuit, my Earth spacesuit. My soul is encased in this holy temple that we call our bodies. When this body wears out or becomes non-functional, my soul will leave this spacesuit, hang it up on the hanger, and that'd be the end of that, right? The question says, but you know, the I am goes on, the spirit, the soul goes on. That's the part that is, when Jesus used to talk about the fact we have life everlasting. That's the part that's going on. Now, the question becomes, when we are in a spiritual state, why did we decide to come to this earthly plane in the first place? We chose to come to the earthly plane because there's a way for us to learn the lessons that we want to learn and learn how to love in an atmosphere in which we have the physical senses that are feeding us the data and get us all confused and take us off track. Right? Isn't that what happens? And so when we make our transition from this spacesuit back into the spirit, we make a decision as to whether we want to come back to the earthly plane to do some more study, to learn more, give it another shot. So we might reincarnate many times. We might choose not to reincarnate again. It's up to the soul and what the soul decides to do to get themselves to the place where they want to be one, truly one, with the divine mind.
This next question is, does emphasis on fracking violate the principle of separation between church and state? And so I think in the Bible, it does tell us, and we use that as a spiritual book that we interpret metaphysically, that we have dominion. And dominion means we have the responsibility to take care of. And that means we have the responsibility to take care of the people of the earth and all the things of the earth, rocks and soil and trees and plants. And fracking, in case you have not read about it, you know, they dig way deep down into the earth, and when they come back up, they bring radioactive materials that are fine in the center of the earth and are not fine for the human body. So it interferes with the way our bodies work. So those chemicals that will then be leached into the soil, which grows our fruits and vegetables, which are the animals eat, and then many people eat the animals, and the water will be polluted with radioactive material. So I don't see that it violates the principle of church and state. Unity is very big on sustainability and in care of the earth. And so I think that as spiritual beings, we are responsible and have dominion over that. Are we getting down the hard ones?
Why, what are the main differences between science of mind and unity? Difference between the left hand and the right hand. Science of mind is, well, the founders of unity were Myrtle and Charles Fillmore, and they took the teachings that they had learned from Emma Curtis Hopkins. They were students of Emma Curtis Hopkins, and they did their own study and they did their own proofing of the material that was presented to them when they were studying. Ernest Holmes was another student of Emma Curtis Hopkins. He did likewise. And they had very, like in most religions, there's little tweaks that they want to make. So, you know, this one says this, but I think it's really this, and it's just a minor change and a minor thought, a pattern, but the concepts are practically identical. They use the quotations of Ernest Holmes, they being Science of Mind. We use the quotations of Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, the teachings of Charles and Myrtle Fillmore. That's basically the difference. All the basic concepts are still the same. And that all came out of the New Thought movement. Transcendentals were who started it, but as the study went on, they discovered the power of the mind that affects the way we live our life and what we bring into our lives. Those same principles are solid in both Science of Mind and in Unity, and several of the other New Thought churches.
So we have a question that says, what is the possibility to start service at 10:30? It's always possible. You know, this, the next couple months, we'll know if we're going to stay here, we'll know if we're going to have the opportunity to move to Fruitland Park, and we'll know if we're going to build on our land. So my gut tells me let's let that flesh out. And then every once in a while, about every 2 years, I think, we take a survey on that and see what people want. You know, as we expand, it would be great to have 2 services, and so then you want to position them so they're not bumping up. We used to, when I was in California, we changed it to 10:30, but then when we found out was it's very hot in the summertime when you get out even just a little later. And then people who like to go to lunch, they don't really stay for fellowship because, you know, pretty much our services are about 75 minutes, so then they want to rush out for the lunch date. So my experience has been it cuts down a little bit on community fellowship. But yeah, we'll be glad to look at it again.
You put it in the suggestion box, huh?
There you go.
All right. I'll try this.
Okay.
Okay, Spirit, here we go. How does, can't read that word, feel about the concept of no time, no space? And number 2, if indeed there is no time, why do we age? How does Unity feel about the concept of no time, no space? I've never read a position paper on that. Have you, in your studies?
Well, all time exists now is the, I think, the real answer to that.
Okay, for those that have studied this, time is linear. So everything is happening at the same time. That's the theory of that linear timing type of thing.
And we could be living in other dimensions as well as this one at the same time.
So this is something, no space and no time. When we get our consciousness up to where we are in someone was talking to me about dimensions lately, the 4th dimension, where we are able to see we're able to see in 4 dimensions as opposed to just 3 dimensions. A lot of these questions are answered when you're able to expand your consciousness to be able to see things like that. Remember that we're in a spacesuit. I mean, we're bodies, so you're talking about why do we age. I don't know about you, but when I look out from inside here, I'm looking out as a 33-year-old stud. However, when I look in the mirror in the morning,
Now, I do say his wife is the only one that's still laughing.
actually, I've heard scientists talk about why aging happens. Charles Fillmore says in his book that he believed, right up until the time of his death, that because the cells in the body always are renewing, the old cells die off and the new cells are formed. And that's true of every organ. And somebody in the nursing field was telling me that it takes 7 years for the body to be completely renewed. Every cell will have changed every 7 years. That's pretty amazing. Now, Charles believed that if we kept our thought patterns in a positive vein and did positive thinking, that these cells would be renewed, whole and healthy, and that they would he would be able to continue to live in this bodily form in his body for very, very long periods of time. And when you read the Old Testament, we talk about the fact that Methuselah lived to be, what was it, 990? Okay, close enough. A long, long time, and we say, well, now that's just impossible. But back then, there was no industry to speak of. Where the methane came from was the cattle and the livestock, you know, that wasn't polluting the air. We have that too. We have that aspect of it that also comes into play. We also deal with a lot of stress. At least many of the people I know are always talking about the fact that they're, I'm so busy, I don't have time to do hardly anything, much less breathe. Well, when you get yourself into that mode of living, that's going to cause aging. Just take a look at every president of the United States that comes into office looking young and vibrant, and when they leave, they're gray-haired and they've got wrinkles all over the face. Why? There's maybe a little bit of stress in that office.
Happens to ministers too.
And senior ministers? Yeah.
Well, he's only 35, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
There's another question here. Were you on
Yes.
this one? Sure.
Well, that was my question, but the other question that I have is Marge, you're saying we're living multiple lifetimes, and I'm trying to wrap my head around it. How can my spirit, are you saying my spirit is in, 50 different dimensions right
I don't know
now?
about 50, but I think it can be in a few different dimensions at the same time.
So my spirit is divided, I'm Gail here and I'm somebody else someplace else?
You could be Gail in the same place, I don't know.
And so how can I travel there?
I think we do travel there. I think many of you know that when you wake up in the morning, you've been somewhere else. Yeah, I think a lot of people have had that. Okay, are you complete? All right. Let's see, this person went through the whole trouble of writing these big questions about 12 powers, then crossed that out. But I'm going to answer that question as well as the next one that they wrote on the paper. So what is the 12 powers? So where are they? And do we have a one-page handout? Oh, you should have taken that 12 powers class. But you can get that one-page handout from Rosemary because it was part of the syllabus. And so Unity, the 12 powers are our spiritual tools or spiritual technology. And as we focus on one of those every month, then we activate that in us. And so if we do that month after month and year after year, we actually get somewhere with our soul development and our God realization. So we start out with faith. Faith and imagination is in the center of the head. very close to where will and understanding. So those 4 powers are all in the head. We come down here to the throat chakra where we have the power of power, or dominion, and zeal. And then we come down to our heart chakra where we have wisdom and love. We come down to our stomach where we have order and strength. And then we come down to our root chakra where we have the powers of elimination and life. So we have all those powers, and we take a month to work on each one of those. And then the next one is, what is your favorite spiritual metaphysical DVD? I don't have a favorite spiritual metaphysical DVD. Does anybody else have a favorite one? Yes, Nancy.
Wayne Dyer has a wonderful, not DVD, but CD called Wishes Fulfilled. And it is the name I Am set to music.
Nice.
So it's God's name
Good.
on the,
So wishes fulfilled using the
Wishes
I Am
fulfilled.
is
That's by
Nancy
Wayne
Lopez's favorite metaphysical. I like more of the YouTubes and more of the TED Talks and more of the what is science and what is religion. I listen to more of those. Yeah. Okay, excellent. I think we're complete and very good questions. Bless you all. All right, and now it is the time in our service when we get to contribute to the highest force in the universe with our tithes, with our blessings, with our gifts, with our love offerings. So let us affirm divine love through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful.
You all know this one.